Hello my friends, I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. Ours had its ups and downs. We had a wonderful Christmas day, just the three of us here at home, opening our prezzies, and it was a lot of fun. Yesterday we went out to a friend's farm so that the dragon man could have a swim, and unfortunately, as is often the case with these kids, they do not want to listen to dear old granny, and the poor dragon man suffered heat stroke. So we've been up most of the night trying to get his temperature down and getting some liquids into him, but he's doing much better today, and he is actually plonked in front of my laptop watching his gaming videos in front of the fan. So if you guys are wondering what the noise is all about in the background, that's all the fans going and Dragon Man watching his videos. But anyway, he's on the mend and I'm sure he'll be much better tomorrow. So today I'm going to have a quick run through everything that's in the news and that I read on Instagram and in the newspapers or in the different articles, the blogs and the vlogs. And it may very well turn into a mini rant, but in the spirit of Christmas, I'm going to try and keep it on even keel and just give you my opinion. So the first thing I want to talk about is an article in The Sun reads as follows. Harry and Meghan are brokering an extension to the 12-month Brexit deal, and the prince plans to return here in the new year to seal it. They want a more permanent agreement to continue as non-working royals in California, despite big money deals with Netflix and Spotify. They will make friendly video calls to senior royals next month before Harry heads here for face-to-face talks, possibly accompanied by Meghan. Their deal with Buckingham Palace expires on March the 31st. Talks are said to be less confrontational than at January's Sandringham summit. But royal aides will pore over the Netflix and Spotify deals, reportedly worth £100 million and £30 million respectively, to ensure they meet the values of Her Majesty. Harry and Meghan are said to be keen to hang on to their royal patronages, despite taking on more commercial commitments in the US. So how are they going to serve those patronages when they're so busy? Never mind, that's just me. Sources say those roles remain on the negotiating table, and Harry's military roles, stripped in the bitter Brexit deal, remain vacant and will not be filled until next summer at the earliest, the Sun understands. We told last week how Meg and Harry posted Christmas presents to William, Kate and their children. And royal biographer Andrew Morton said the couple want to return COVID restrictions willing for the Queen's 95th birthday on April 21st, the Duke of Edinburgh's 100th in June, and the unveiling of a statue of Princess Diana on July the 1st, what would have been her 60th birthday. Okay, and then there was the clarifications and corrections from the Mail on Sunday. And that reads as follows, and this comes from the cat with the emerald tiara and posted on Royal Art Shoals. I must thank these people because sometimes when I don't have time, it is just so easy to go to their regularly updated Instagram accounts. Okay, so the clarification and corrections by the Mail on Sunday reads as follows. An article on the 25th of October 2020 reported that Prince Harry had been accused by a top general of turning his back on the Royal Marines since withdrawing from his military roles in March, and that in an apparent snub to the armed forces, he had failed to reply to a letter from Lord Denat, a former chief of the General Staff. We now understand that Harry had been in contact in a private capacity with individuals in the military, including in the Royal Marines, to offer informal support since March, and that whilst he did not initially receive the letter from Lord Denay referred to in the article due to administrative issues, he has since replied on becoming aware of it. We apologise to Prince Harry and have made a donation to the Invictus Games Foundation. Now, I'm sorry to say, but if there's no action from Queen Elizabeth, I'm joining the ranks of the Republicans, done and dusted. The Queen took an oath not only to serve for all her life, but also to put her country and people first. Those military roles should be filled on the 3rd of January. It does not matter to me, or I think to most of you, that Harry finally replied to that letter from the General, which he probably found among junk mail and Netflix contracts. It does not matter to me that he is suddenly making random donations, or that the Mail on Sunday are making donations because of their retraction and apology, or whatever you want to call that. What matters is that he needs to be in attendance to partake in ceremonies. He needs to take phone calls. He needs to reply to letters from the military. He needs to be able to attend one of the military facilities at a drop of a hat if there's a problem, or even when there is not. Perhaps just to take part in discussions, for example, discussions on mental health, etc. In short, he needs to be there. He needs to be in Britain to fulfill his role as Captain General of the Royal Marines and all his other honorary military roles. In my opinion, it will be a kick in the teeth for the military if Her Majesty postpones filling these positions. It does not matter whether Harry and Meghan have now made peace with the family. That is between them as a family, and still does not take away from the fact that they accused the British people of racism, unfairness, and they left the country. It still does not change the fact that Harry and Meghan are still lying about Archie, and that they are still unwilling to show him to the British public. The same public who had been paying for his nappies, for instance. And this retraction is actually laughable, as it only confirms the original article, because it states, whilst he did not initially receive the letter, thus confirming that he did not respond to the letter, as he did not receive it, or he did receive it, but it went AWOL, either into Meghan Markle's handbag or maybe landed among all the Netflix and Spotify contracts, etc. The point remains that the letter did not receive attention when it should have, and had it gone to Kensington, Buckingham, or Windsor Palaces, it would have been dealt with by competent staff with years of experience dealing with this kind of correspondence, and it would have been dealt with in time and in the proper manner. But with Harry being in the United States, where his staff contingent is quite different, where their values are quite different from the royal staff, obviously this letter got waylaid, as it was less important than the Netflix contract to his United States staff and or his wife. I think it's quite safe to assume that that is the truth. So after Harry was made aware of the letter, he replied to it. Okay, great. But that only proves and reiterates my opinion that in order to fulfill his role as Captain General of the Royal Marines and other military roles, he needs to be in Britain, and he needs to be in the folds of the royal family with the facilities and trained staff available to them. Then there is another article saying that Meghan will not give up her patronages willingly. Now, as far as I understand, I believe that the patronages also need to accept the proposed royal patron and that it's a two-way street. In my opinion, there is very little benefit for these patronages should they decide to keep Harry or Meghan as their patrons. One only needs to look at their posts on Twitter, Instagram, etc., and then to look at comments made on the posts. And I think it is safe to say that the majority of comments are critical and or negative. Now, who on earth would want to keep a patron who solicits this kind of negativity? But I guess at the end of the day, it's not about the charity, but it's all about making the headlines and the money. So from my side, my final word on these articles: I no longer wish to see Harry and Meghan as the President and Vice President of the Commonwealth Trust. I feel that they are a divisive force, and living in a country where we do have racial issues, we certainly do not need the two of them to further glorify these issues by their woke statements and obvious partiality to certain groups. And that is my final word on that. And I will not change my mind on that either. They can stand on their heads and whistle Dixie through their backsides. That is my opinion, and I'm not going to change it, not now, not next week, not ever, because what they have done is what they have done, and no apologizing to their family and making friends with their family or making peace with the family will wipe out what they have done, what they have said in the past, and what is done in my mind. The other issue, and this is also my opinion and one that I am not likely to change anytime in the future, the merging of themselves. Look, I'm aware, and I have it on my Instagram, I'm aware that that there's such a thing as the royal shop, and you can even order stuff online, and that's cool. When I visit the UK, I often go into these curio shops and I buy my family little items with a flag or the Queen's face or whatever to bring back home. That kind of merchandising is one thing. However, none of the royals to date have actually sold themselves. Yes, they have attempted to start businesses and to become self-sufficient, like Prince Edward, although that one didn't work out, as we saw. But yes, they've tried that. We've seen Sarah Ferguson doing that, and we've seen a couple of the others doing it in the past, etc., etc. However, what Harry and Meghan is doing is they are merching themselves. They are selling themselves by making documentaries and by having this thing on Spotify. They're not selling a product. They're not giving us anything in exchange for our money. All they are giving us is themselves. They are selling themselves. They are their own product. And they are using their royal titles to sell themselves. And as far as I'm concerned, that is very unfair to the rest of us. There are many of us who are creative and who are trying to earn a buck, but we need to fight our way to reaching that point. We need to endear ourselves to a certain type of listener. We need to struggle through getting the right technical setup, and we have to save up for it, and we have to well, you all know my technical battles in the past. But it's not about me and it's not about any particular individual. What I'm trying to picture here is that you get guys who finish drama school or college and they want to go into movie making. Young chappie, 22, 23, 24, and he battles to find a job. He battles to get a foot into the film industry, just like many of us have battled to get listeners on YouTube or then on Spotify or any of the others. We have to go through them all. We have to make one video after another until someone notices us and it has a bit of a snowball effect and we gain listeners. Not so for Harry and Meghan. Because of their HRHs and their Duke and Duchess titles and their notoriety, there is an element of curiosity, and they are actually selling and banking on that element of curiosity, their notoriety, and then their titles. And in my opinion, my very humble opinion, what Harry and Meghan are doing is they are cheapening the monarchy. And the more they continue to cheapen the monarchy and the monarchy stays, let's call it neutral or mum on the situation, the more respect I am losing for the monarchy. Because like I said before, the Queen vowed to serve not only all her life, but her people first. And with all the polls that have been put up, whereby between 90 and 96% of the British people said they no longer want them to hold the title, if the Queen defies that, then she is defying her people. Now, having said that, I do have empathy for the Queen at 94, and I'm sure she doesn't feel up to all this drama and fighting and media battles, etc. But she also needs to take a stand. If she wants to continue to present herself as being lucid and still strong, then she needs to take a stand. And if she's not strong enough to do so, to take a stand against her own family, then she is no longer strong enough to lead the country as its queen. And it pains me to say that, because I have absolutely adored and respected the Queen all of my 57 years on this earth. I have books on her, I have photographs on her, I have been collecting old photographs on the Queen, and I absolutely adored her. I would even go as far as to say I loved her more than I ever liked Diana. But this whole scenario has come as a huge disappointment. We all find ourselves at times where we need to hand our discipline to our children. We've all landed ourselves in scenarios where we had to draw a line with a family member for whatever reason. And although it's not easy, we eventually bring ourselves so far as to do that for the sake of our own mental and physical health or our finances or whatever the scenario presented itself as. So that is what we expect from the Queen and more. And I'm also very sorry to say, but I expect that even more from Prince Charles. He is much younger than his mother. Harry is his son, and he is also the next monarch. So if Charles is unable to discipline his son and his daughter-in-law, then how on earth will he be the King of Great Britain? How will he manage that position? Or will he, like his son, cover up his flaws and mistakes with woke word salad? I'm just asking. There is a difference between respecting somebody for the work they've done. And in light of the work that Charles had done in Cornwall and on his various estates and the upliftment of certain areas in London, etc., etc., I do have respect for him. He did some excellent work in his lifetime. However, unfortunately, I do not have the same respect for him when it comes to his personality and his backbone. Okay, now I've had my say, and maybe it's not the positive vibe that I would have wanted to spread towards you all in this festive season, but it is what it is. Okay, I intend to be back very soon, maybe tomorrow, because I want to continue replying to some of, or going through some of the emails that I've received and my replies on these emails. I think it just gives us a bit of a break from all this hardcore investigation, and believe me, I do need a break. Although, I must also mention that some of the replies did require some investigation, so it's not all that straightforward. But I think, it's investigations and searching and Googling which has already been done, so it'll take less of my time over the next few days, and with old great dragon man not being 100% himself and just me and him at home, I do need to pay a little bit of attention there, and therefore as from tomorrow and for the next few days we'll be going through all these emails and replies and chats and talk about that a little. And then soon after New Year we will go into full-on investigation mode, and towards the second week of January the new channel will be up and running. All the artwork had been done, all the I've got I think two, let's call it 2.5 videos which have sort of been planned out already. It just needs to be narrated. I need to get my printer up and running so I can scan some photographs, and then we're ready to go. So I'm still here, I'm still doing my job, and I'm still looking forward to chatting to you all. I think over the next few days, but more regularly than usual, because we're just going to be having fun. So for now, I'm saying have a very good day. Enjoy your families, those of you who can. Those of you who are alone, I'm still here for you. I haven't been able to answer all my email yet, and I sincerely apologize for that. But I will get to it. I promise, I promise, I promise. And I'm going to send you all nice little chatty emails in return, and try and be here for as many of you as I possibly and humanly can. But just know that even if I cannot reply to each and every one of you, please know that each and every one of you holds a special place in my heart, and I do wish you well. I wish I could reach out and touch you, but that's what I'm trying to do through these videos. And I hope that just listening to me will bring another voice, another breath into your home. Okay, so for now, until the next one, I'm saying bye.